Naruto is one of the most popular and most beloved animes out there, and part of why it's so popular is the large amount of iconic moments throughout the 700 chapters of Naruto. There are a total of 19 arcs in the Naruto series, so I thought it would be cool to look at the most iconic moments from each of these arcs. And before we get started, if you want to see more anime analysis videos like this, please subscribe as it really helps the channel. So we are going to start off with the first arc in Naruto, which is the Land of the Waves arc. And this arc stems from the first chapter of Naruto all the way to the deaths of Zabuza and Haku. This arc has so many great moments, from Kakashi introducing the Sharingan, Naruto and Sasuke's strategy against Zabuza, and Zabuza killing all those bandits by himself. But I think the most iconic moment from this arc was Zabuza crying. This moment was iconic not just because of the memes, but because of how it ties to the overall theme of the arc, which is that ninja are more than just tools. Zabuza and Haku believe that ninja are only tools to be used by other people, and that they should suppress their emotions instead. And then to see Zabuza cry after seeing Haku die, and Naruto shouting at him for not caring about Haku, was a very powerful scene, and it was such a great way to conclude this arc. Now next up is the Chunin Exams. The Chunin Exams is one of the most beloved arcs in not just Naruto but in anime in general, because you have so much iconic moments like Sasuke vs Orochimaru in the Forest of Death, where he gets the curse mark for the first time, and you have all of these great fights in the preliminaries tournament. But I think the most iconic moment in the Chunin Exams, it has to be Gaara vs Rock Lee. I mean, this fight has earned so much praise by fans for decades, and it honestly deserves the hype it gets. The action is top tier, he has a ton of emotion because of Rock Lee and how much he has worked to get to where he is, and you get his backstory as well, and then you get to see how much he struggled to become a great shinobi without having any ninjutsu or any genjutsu skills at all. And then to top it all off, he opens the 5th gate against Gaara, and that is one of the most popular transformations in the Naruto series, and it's honestly the main highlight of that fight. And it also serves as a great lesson to show that, even through hard work and not just talent alone, you can still become a great shinobi, and that is what this fight teaches you. When you ask someone what their top 5 favorite fights are in Naruto, chances are most of them would probably choose Gaara vs Rock Lee as part of their top 5, if not maybe top 3. Now next is the Konoha Crush arc. This arc begins from when the Chunin Exams gets interrupted, all the way to Gaara's defeat. This arc might be the weakest arc in part 1 Naruto I feel, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have its great moments. I was torn between two candidates, and these were Orochimaru using the reanimation jutsu, and Naruto summoning Gamabunta against Shukaku. But I think I'm going to go with Orochimaru using the reanimation jutsu as the most iconic moment of that arc, because this was the moment we were first introduced to Hashirama and Tobirama, who were stated to be the strongest Hokages, and the ones who built the foundation of the Leaf Village. And I also think because of how important these characters became in Shippuden during the war arc, and the flashback during the Warring States period, it makes this moment much more better upon rewatching it. Just seeing them fight off against Hiruzen in a Kage level kind of fight was an absolute spectacle. We are also introduced to the Wood style jutsu, which is Hashirama's main jutsu signature move, and this is also the first time we see the third Hokage fight in actual combat. So yeah, I'm going to go for Orochimaru reanimating the first and second Hokages as the most iconic moment of the Konoha Crush arc. So in the search for Tsunade arc, I think the most iconic moment easily has to be Naruto using the Rasengan for the first time. I mean, come on, the Rasengan is Naruto's most signature move, and it's one of the most popular techniques in Battle Shonen. This move is pretty much Naruto's version of the Kamehameha, as it's the move that he constantly relies on to beat his opponents. Like throughout this entire arc, he was training day and night, learning how to master it, and for all the hard work to be paid off against Kabuto at the end, it's always so satisfying to watch. And what also makes this moment much better is that it proves that Naruto was right, that people with dreams can still live, which is what Tsunade was so against at the beginning, because those who were so close to her died with the same dream of becoming the Hokage. So seeing Naruto prove her wrong by using the Rasengan, a technique that Tsunade said that he would never be able to master, really made this moment much more impactful. So in the Sasuke Retrieval arc, I think the most iconic moment has got to be the final clash between Naruto and Sasuke at the Final Valley. I'll go as far as to say that this might be the most iconic moment in all of Part 1 Naruto. Like, this fight between Naruto and Sasuke at the Final Valley has been built up for such a long time, ever since the beginning, because Naruto and Sasuke have been rivals ever since they were on the same team. We have seen them both go stronger as Genin and learning new jutsu as the show went on. Sasuke learned his signature move, the Chidori, during the Chunin Exams, and Naruto learned his during the search for Tsunade arc. We literally saw a small glimpse of their fight on the rooftop, and we were very close to seeing them clash before Kakashi interrupted them, and this just further built up their fight in the Final Valley, where no one is there to stop them. So for them to finally let loose and clash with their strongest jutsu makes this moment much more memorable to people, and I think is a major reason why the Naruto and Sasuke fight in Part 1 is often regarded as one of, if not the best fight in all of Naruto. And what makes this moment even more special is the fact that Naruto lost the clash, which led to Sasuke leaving the village, and this majorly impacts the story of Naruto moving forward, just because of this one scene. So the next is the Kakashi Gaiden arc. This arc revolved around Kakashi and Obito during their childhood when they were part of the same team. In the anime, this arc was shown during Shippuden, but in the manga, this was actually the last arc of Part 1 Naruto before moving on to Part 2. And I think the most iconic moment from this short arc was when Obito gave his Sharingan to Kakashi. This is such a crucial moment in the series because it explains how Kakashi became known as the Copy Ninja, and it also explains how Kakashi could use the Sharingan despite not being part of the Uchiha clan, and that was such a big mystery in the beginning of the series, because the Sharingan is a Kage Genkai, which is exclusive to the Uchiha clan. And I also think that upon rewatch, this moment only hits harder after you find out that Obito was actually the guy in the mask all this time, showing how he lost his way and his ideals after he lost Rin. In the Kazekage rescue mission arc, I would say that Naruto returning to the village is the most iconic moment from that arc. This is the first arc after the time skip, so to see Naruto 2 years older, wearing new clothes with a different hairstyle than what we were used to in Part 1, it always stands out to me. His reunion with Sakura was nice to see, and was also funny at the same time, since we know that Naruto still hasn't matured just yet and will still play a lot of jokes. This moment was a great way to start off Part 2, since the reason why Naruto trained with Jiraiya was to bring back Sasuke before Orochimaru takes his body, and also to fight off against the Akatsuki, who were planning to make their move during this time. So next up is the Tenchi Bridge arc. This arc may be one of the more weaker arcs in the Naruto series, but it still has some great and memorable moments in there, like the fight between Four Tails Naruto and Orochimaru on the bridge. However, I think the most iconic moment has to be the reunion of Team 7. Like, this has been building up since the start of the time skip, because Team 7 got split up during those 2 years, and the reason why Naruto and Sakura trained so much was so they can bring him back. And this moment was also the first introduction to Sasuke post-time skip, which was kind of a late introduction compared to the other Konoha ninja, because this was the second arc of Part 2. And just the scene of Naruto and Sakura looking up towards Sasuke, their former teammate who is so far ahead of them now and only hung up on revenge, is always so memorable to watch. And when you think of this arc, the Team 7 reunion is always what comes to mind. So next is the Akatsuki Suppression arc. Now this was actually quite a hard one to figure out which might be the most iconic moment, because there's always 3 that comes to mind, and those are Naruto using the Rasen Shuriken on Kakuzu for the first time, Shikamaru getting his revenge on Hidan in the forest, and the death of Asuma. But after giving it much thought, I think that Shikamaru getting his revenge might be the most iconic moment. This arc was primarily about Shikamaru and his relationship with Asuma, whereas Naruto served more as like a background character because he was training for his new jutsu. Because of what happened to Asuma, we really see Shikamaru grieve over his death. And the anime did a great job in showing that, like when he played shogi with his dad, and when he let out his emotions. And then seeing Shikamaru get his revenge on the one that killed his master makes it so satisfying to see. And even him telling Hidan that he is his god, and that he'll be the one to pass judgment, is one of Shikamaru's greatest moments in the whole Naruto series. Now in the Itachi Pursuit mission arc, the most iconic moment definitely has to be Sasuke killing Orochimaru. This was such a surprising moment because Sasuke willingly joined Orochimaru for greater power, whilst knowing that Orochimaru only wanted him for his body. So then for Sasuke to actually turn on him and instead absorb Orochimaru onto his body was an interesting twist. And because of this moment, Orochimaru no longer had control over his subjects, and Sasuke was then able to form his team, the Hebi, in order to go after Itachi. Now next is the tale of Jiraiya the Gallant arc, and I think the most iconic moment is pretty obvious. It's the death of Jiraiya. This is what always comes to mind whenever you think of this arc, because this mainly covers the fight between Jiraiya and Pain. Jiraiya's death is not only one of the most iconic deaths in Naruto, but in anime in general. This is the death you think about whenever you talk about the most iconic deaths in anime, or the saddest deaths in anime. This moment is what impacts Naruto greatly as a character, and challenges him on his ideals about trying to overcome hatred with peace, and also impacts him emotionally because Jiraiya served as like a father figure to him. In the fated battle between brothers arc, there were many great moments I felt were quite iconic, like Sasuke using Kirin, Itachi's Susanoo reveal, Itachi's death, and Sasuke stated he was going to destroy Konoha. But I think the most iconic moment from this arc was probably Sasuke learning the truth about Itachi. This moment really changes your whole perspective about Itachi and the type of person he really was. It's because of this moment in the series where Itachi became such a huge fan favourite in the Naruto fandom, and it's also because of this moment where we see Sasuke develop further into an antagonist when he originally started out as one of the main protagonists of the story. The Pain Assault arc is often regarded as the best arc in Naruto, and of course this is going to have so many great moments, making it just even harder to find out which is the most iconic moment from this arc, because you have moments like Kakashi's death, Konohamaru defeating a path of pain, Sage Naruto entering the village, Pain destroying the village, and Naruto being praised as a hero by the villagers. But I think the most iconic moment from this arc might have to be Pain's speech to Naruto about the cycle of hatred. This speech that Pain gives out really tells you the type of villain Pain is, and why he is often regarded as one of the greatest villains in Shonen. His speech about the cycle of hatred and talking about his childhood growing up in the Rain Village was eye-opening to the point where even Naruto couldn't even think of an answer to his question on how he will try to find peace. Now the 5 Kage Summit arc also has a lot of moments which stand out in this arc. But I think the most iconic moment has to be Obito declaring war on the 5 Kage, kicking off the 4th Great Shinobi World War. This arc perfectly sets up the final saga of the Naruto series because of Obito declaring war in order to revive the 10 Tails. You can probably argue that the second Team 7 reunion might be the most iconic moment, but I feel that this moment doesn't really set up the 4th war as much, and I also feel that this reunion isn't as impactful as the previous one. Now, although the 4th Great Shinobi World War is the final arc in the series, it's still chopped up into smaller arcs that cover the entire war, so it's more like a saga than an arc. The first arc in the 4th war is the Countdown, and this begins from the end of Naruto and Sasuke's clash all the way to Obito wearing his new mask and preparing to collect the remaining tail beasts. And this is also the same arc where we see Naruto train with Killer Bee in order to control the 9 Tails chakra. And I think the most iconic moment from this arc has to be Naruto meeting Kushina for the first time. This was one of the most emotional moments in Naruto because Naruto never knew his parents and he said that he always wanted to meet his mom. And it was also because of this moment that we finally get the full explanation of what happened during the 9 Tails incident 16 years ago. So in the 4th war Confrontation arc, this is when the 4th war officially begins, which mainly involved fights against the reanimated shinobi. There weren't that much great moments throughout this arc, and I feel this was the weakest section of the war arc, but I did find one moment that really does stand out to me, and that is Naruto dodging the Raikage's punch. This moment shows how far Naruto has grown, and what makes this scene so great is that up to that point, Minato was the only one faster than him, and for his son to do the same feat comparable to Minato makes this scene much more memorable. The 4th war Climax arc I feel was definitely the best part of the war arc, and it is filled with so many great moments, because you have moments like Naruto and Kurama linking for the first time, Itachi's farewell to Sasuke, Obito's reveal, Kakashi versus Obito, and we even have Team 7 working together as a team again after so long. Now these are all iconic moments, but I think Madara versus the Shinobi Alliance has to be the most iconic moment out of the bunch. Pretty much every Naruto fan knows why this moment was so great. Madara has literally been built up ever since the end of part 1, and was constantly name dropped for hundreds of chapters until its introduction. Just seeing him solo the entire alliance with ease shows the overwhelming difference in power between Madara and the Shinobi of the present day. It was easily the best villain introduction in Naruto, and was definitely worth the build up that Madara had. The Tails Jinchuriki arc covers the fight against Jubito all the way to the activation of the Infinite Tsukuyomi. A lot of things happen in this arc, but I think the most iconic moment has to be my guy opening the 8th gate against Tails Madara. We already knew all the way back during the Chunin Exams that opening the 8th gate leaks to the depth of the user, so for my guy to open the 8th gate against the most powerful opponent at the time, even calling him the strongest Taijutsu user, will forever make this moment iconic and one of the biggest highlights of the entire war arc. And then finally, we have the Kaguya Strikes arc, and this arc starts from the revival of Kaguya all the way to the end of the series. It's a short arc, but it has a lot of memorable moments despite that. You have Obito's death, Kakashi's DMS and his new Susanoo, Team 7 stealing Kaguya, Naruto saying goodbye to Minato, and Naruto and Sasuke's final battle. All of these are very iconic, but I think the most iconic moment from this final section has to be Naruto becoming Hokage from the final chapter. This is what has been Naruto's main goal throughout the entire story, and seeing him become the 7th Hokage in the final chapter and ending the wars between the 5 nations was the perfect ending to this story and Naruto's difficult character journey. So yeah, these are the most iconic moments from every Naruto arc. Let me know what your favourite Naruto moments are in the comments down below, and thanks for watching.